All right, well, good morning or afternoon, possibly evening, depending on where you may be. Thank you for standing by and welcome to today's Channel Focus Community Webinar. Our topic for today is Channel Partners' Honest View of Social Media. All phone lines are currently in a listen-only mode, and later there will be a question and answer session with additional instructions being given at the time. You may ask a question at any time using the chat window located in the control panel, and all chat questions will be answered at the end of the presentation with the rest of the Q&A. Today's session is being recorded, and everyone will get a copy of the recording and slides following the presentation. Now, I'd like to introduce today's moderator. Over the last 20 years, Olivier Chiron has become an expert in the development and implementation of channel programs in the high technology sector. Since founding Pure Channel Apps in 2011, Olivier's team has developed some great and innovative products such as Social on Demand and News on Demand. Olivier, take it away.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Olivier Chiron. I'm the CEO and founder of Pure Channel Apps, and today I've got some great panelists with me, online and offline. Before I introduce them to you, I wanted to give you quite an in-depth background as to why I set up this webinar, why I am interested to hear about channel partners' views of social media, and why we have done what we have done. And to give you some background, Pure Channel Apps is a company founded in 2011. We were the first to market with a platform called Social on Demand, which is a social media syndication platform. And as I will describe, it helps partners get involved with social. It lets them become socially active. As you can see from the screen, we are doing and working with a number of IT customers today globally. Why is social media so important? See some stats here from Nielsen. People trust friends, family, and peers to make any decision when it comes to IT purchases, or for that matter, any purchases at all. In fact, if you look at Forrester Research or Research Series Decisions, they all say that 2/3 of the sales cycle is now spent online or on social media. And that actually your buyers, your prospective buyers, are spending a lot of time in the internet sphere before they reach anyone being your channel partner or yourselves. So it's also important to understand that if you allow your employees, if you allow your channel partners to share some of your content, you will get a lot better results than if you do it yourself on your own social platforms. Now, truthfully, it's not easy to do, but how do you do that? Well, socially enable your channel partners. Make them socially active is what I think is key to this. Make sure that they engage with their audience. Make sure that they share relevant, regular, thought leadership content on their behalf, but on your behalf too. Now, as I said, it's not difficult to do. We interviewed some partners with the customer of ours, Microsoft, and 80% of those partners acknowledge the fact that they don't have the time, the resources, or the content to do social. And that's a problem. That's a big problem. And this is when we come in. And what we have done, and I'm going to go very quickly there, and that's the last part of my background, is enable through Social on Demand a new set of processes, whereas if you start from the left on the screen, you as a brand input content into the platform, you tag that content for different countries, topics, audiences, and essentially this feeds your channel partners, but it could also be your employees, with content that's pertinent to them, which they can then share on their own social networks. The value there, we'll discuss later, but the value is you essentially feed them with content that you're happy with, content that is of great value, content that they themselves would not be able to either find or create, and let them share that content on their own social networks. So essentially, you're enabling them to use your content to drive interaction with their own followers. Very, very important. Now, we've done this on the web. You see here a number of screens. The first one is partners receiving an email with content that's relevant to them. They then log into the platform, and step number 3, they see that content, they can edit that content, they can make sure it goes to the right social networks, and here it goes. we have recently updated the platform and added a mobile app which does exactly the same, just a bit faster and maybe a bit cooler. All of our customers will soon have a personalized and fully branded app on iOS and Android. They will be notified of new content. They'll log into the platform and be able to edit, share, reject, or schedule the content that's provided by their suppliers. Again, this applies to the employee space. Now, I'm very excited about the platform. I created the company 5 years ago on the back of this product, but instead of me talking about it, what I'd like to do today is welcome our panelists and let them talk to you about the experience of social media and the experience of social element. So first, I've got Ben and Terry who join us from Denver. Guys, would you like to introduce yourselves and your company?
Hi, I'm Terry Knight with PDS Xerox. We're a local agency here in Fort Collins, Colorado, and the Denver, Colorado area.
Hello, I'm Ben, located in Fort Collins. Work with the social media for professional document solutions.
I understand it's difficult. Okay, thank you very much, Ben and Terry. Graham, I'm very excited to have today on board as well. Graham is actually my personal IT team in the UK. Graham, would you like to introduce yourself as well?
Yes, it's Graham Compton from Business Age Technologies. Been in communications now for 20 years, and this it's a great opportunity. I'm really looking forward to seeing moving forward with more what we can do with this platform. So excellent.
Thank you very much. Lastly, there's a person who is not going to be on the call today, but we've made some recording with him. Tony is marketing manager at RDT, a Xerox partner, and you will see he will share some of his thoughts. So now I've introduced everyone there. I'm going to make one small reminder. You do have a question panel on your screen by GoToMeeting. If any point during that presentation you have any questions, and we hope you have many, please make sure that you put your questions through, and we'll look at those at the end. So, first question about social media. Very generic questions I'd like to ask everybody, and for that start, I'm going to play a recording of what Tony recorded for us earlier. So essentially, here you go, Tony.
I see it as absolutely vital to the business for a number of different reasons. Again, it's great in terms of awareness. People do go and look for you on social media. They may not engage with you, but they know that you're there and they may be seeing you, but they don't always interact. It's a very important part of our marketing these days. It's difficult to always attribute a return on investment to it, and I would say from an awareness perspective, having worked in businesses that go from no social media to social media, I think we make ourselves quite easy to find digitally these days, and it does have an impact on our salespeople when they're talking to clients, for those businesses to go and find us online and kind of almost put a name to the face. It is a shop front these days. As long as it looks attractive online, people tend to kind of validate your business on how you appear to them online. I see it as absolutely.
So thank you, Tony, there. Ben, Terry, what do you think? I mean, obviously, you do social. How is it critical for a business such as yours?
Yeah, this is Ben. I think it's very critical, mainly for the top-of-mind awareness. So when the timing's right, when the customer's ready to make a purchasing decision, they're going to actually call you when it comes time to buy a product. I think the biggest thing from what I've seen is to make sure you get your current customer base to like your pages. So whether it's, after a purchase or just sending out emails to your customer list, just to get them to like your page, and that way so you have an audience to engage with.
Right, and this is Terry. Something that I just want to reinforce earlier as far as how important is it for our business. is to keep your customers engaged and make sure that that content's good, and that's where social on demand is pretty good. And then also the people within your agencies, important to post again every day and keep them engaged.
Cool. Graham, do you have anything to add on that one? How does it work for you?
It definitely has made a change to my business and the way we operate in the last year, I'd say more so than ever before. And it's made me more aware that I need to be active, more proactive, and my team to get more social media out in front of our customer space. It's definitely, when we've won new orders recently for a lot of the new hosted telephony and cloud telephony, we've got more people searching us online and responding to our social media, so it's definitely making a difference.
Cool.
Just need more effort. Sorry.
So I was going to say, next question for you, is how difficult is it for an organization of your size with the staff you have to do social media? Is it difficult? Do you have content? Is it very time consuming?
It's more time consuming. It's trying to find the right person to post the right piece of media, and that's why we love your platform, because it does a lot of work for us. But in addition to that, obviously, yeah, we've got to come up with more information to put out to people who want to do PR and marketing for us, and that is very time consuming.
Then Terry, is it the same for you? Obviously, you're there to do social media, so is it time consuming? You keep busy all day?
I think it really doesn't have to be time consuming. I think people overly complicate it, and a lot of times that's what caused people to really not do anything moving forward. So what we've done is we've created an editorial calendar. So we make time for it. We schedule in time and content into like a Google Calendar. We keep it simple. So between using Xerox Social On Demand, which has been really wonderful because there's really good content on there and it's easy to share, we also create our own content from like a blog post and schedule that out as well. But having the Google Calendar or even a spreadsheet with what you're going to post out, say for a month or two, makes it a lot easier, because then you have set time frames that you're going to be posting content on a regular basis. One other side tip is we use BuzzSumo.com to find really good trending topics to even talk about. So I think with Xerox Social On Demand and BuzzSumo, you can really use both of those platforms to create really, really good content for your social media platforms.
Cool, that's great. Do you actually spend a lot of time listening as well to your prospects on social media? I mean, how much of that do you do? Ben and Terry, if you want to take on.
Yeah, sure. It's important to, you can't just fire off a post and forget about it. Social media, you have to remember that it is social, and people are going to respond to your pages and posts. So that is another avenue for you to answer those FAQs and also to show off your agency's personality or your company's personality, keeping it social, showing those office pics, showing those birthdays, responding to your customers, and also commenting on their posts is hugely important to getting people to engage with your content. If you go to their content and make a comment as your agency on their content, you will get some interaction that you probably weren't expecting, and your posts will exponentially get more followers, your pages will increase in views. It'll be beneficial to everybody. So, remember to keep it social and to engage those customers, again, every single day and on their pages as well.
Cool. Graham, do you spend much time listening and following your followers and seeing what they do?
Well, in a nutshell, yes, I do. Mostly for me, it's actually sitting down of an evening. In the business days, just full on. I don't get the opportunity, but of an evening, instead of watching one of the televisions in the background, I will follow through and have a look what's going on there. And that's when I'm responding to anybody that's made an inquiry as well, and I find that that's the most relaxing time I can do. But during a business course day, unless I do what Terry and Ben have said about perhaps setting aside a time in a diary, which is actually a good idea, and I need to probably do that, and that will make a difference to that. But during the evening is the time I will follow up and see how many followers we've increased and have a look at them, what they're doing. So that's about that time, yes.
Cool. Now, how are you guys doing social networks? I mean, Graham, is it just you and your own LinkedIn accounts? Do you have Twitter accounts? Do you have Facebook accounts? Is it everybody in your business? Do you employ salespeople? Do you have them involved as well? Or how do you do that?
Well, at the moment it's all been mostly myself, but I've been following up this with one of my team, Matthew. I think he's more than capable of doing this. We've been talking about it. He's been doing a little bit on Facebook. In fact, last year we won some business through Facebook as well, which has been really helpful. So he's definitely, I'm trying to train him up on one of those, some of those areas that we need to think about what we should do for blogging as well as social media as well. So moving forward, I think that will become the largest part of our business.
Good, I'm glad to hear. Now, Ben and Terry, I know you do it very differently. So could you explain how many social networks you have and if you manage your management team's account?
Sure. Yeah, we have we use a lot of the most popular social sites. We use Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Google Plus is huge. We manage all of our content through our marketing department, which is myself. So we're always getting a consistent message and brand, but not being overly markety to our followers.
Yeah, so I think the main thing is that when a customer comes to your news feed, you don't want it to look like a ghost town. A lot of times what you'll see is people, the last post that they have on their news feed is from January 2015. So the main thing is, I think, just to post on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And use all those platforms, yeah.
Okay. Someone just asked a question, and I think it's a good time to ask that question. I mentioned Facebook. Do you see Facebook working for you, or in the IT sector, is it just maybe Google Plus, LinkedIn? How does this Facebook work for you?
Yeah, who's this for?
It's for you.
Okay, yeah, so Facebook's been working well for us. We actually sponsor some of our posts as well, so we'll either boost the post if it's a really good informative post, or run a sponsored ad to a targeted audience. That seems to help quite a bit.
Yeah, and especially with Facebook, there's a lot of internal workings of Facebook that people just don't take the time to learn about, and they just end up throwing money away. Things like conversion pixels and being able to get that pixel mature on your website so that when you do decide to boost a post, which it's very much worth your time and money to do so, once you have that mature conversion pixel, you can target your audience and really spend those marketing dollars well.
Yeah, so that means basically people who land on your website and they leave, they'll get retargeted at a later point in time on their news feed. So I think that's super valuable.
I agree. Good. You guys are rocking on that one. Graham, do you do anything like that? Do you see Facebook useful?
We've used Facebook, and obviously, like I said, we've got quite a bit of business last year through it, and we've done a little bit this year, but definitely I want to spend more time concentrating efforts to get the business promoted and what we can do for our customers, basically, and the potential customers. I definitely see that we need to have a strategy in place to actually have that working on a regular basis. We might only post at the moment once or twice a week, but that's not enough.
Okay, well, it's a good introduction. I was going to say, so today, how much do you think you're posting in terms of content? And is that going to evolve? Has it evolved already? Graham, give me an insight first.
Okay. Yes, for us it's more regular. We're looking at it every day. We're trying to look at content and what should we do. There's something that's unique, grabs the attention of the audience, and that's what we really need to be focusing on. I can see that would really help if we could get other vendors and manufacturers giving us material like we get from some sources with yourself already, that if some people were hot on the press with an item that would attract the audience, then that's very important. But we're not getting enough avenues like that. We've got several vendors who will post things themselves but not giving us that information, and we're reselling their products. It'd be handy if we could have that information from as a channel partner first before we put it out to the channel or even the media. So more often is the case, definitely, yes.
Okay, well, I'm going to say, Graham, if you need any help convincing those customers, let me know, okay? Ben Terry, Ben Terry, how often do you post content? I mean, do you see that changing too?
Yeah, it's different for different platforms. Like Twitter, we will post quite a bit. We'll post a couple times a day, but like I said, we're on all the platforms. So we use social on demand on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn pages. So we post daily on those platforms. So we kind of use a hybrid model. So we'll use the social on demand to post really good content on a regular basis, and we'll sprinkle in a little bit of our own content linking back to our own blog. So you it makes it a lot easier because social on demand takes care of a lot of the heavy lifting, and so you don't have to think up as much content. But on an SEO standpoint, we also do have, like, when we have a new employee or really good information we want to get out to our customer base, we will go ahead and post a blog post, and then we'll also put that out there to all the platforms. So
okay, so you try to be regular, but essentially you do it when you have news to share that are worthwhile.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm going to move to the next question there. First question is, obviously you guys work with suppliers, IT suppliers. Are these guys giving you any social media guidance or training today? Ben, Terry, could you let me know?
Yeah, we basically took it on ourselves. Where we've gained a lot of insight on social media is really from attending a lot of the meetups. Like if you go to meetup.com, we've been really attending those on a regular basis to get information as well. And through Xerox, there's also some different trainings on social media as well. But yeah, the majority of it, a lot of it's self-taught. But
And congrats to everybody here for taking the first steps to learning more about the social media process, because it is a learning curve.
Graham, do you find it that challenging? I mean, you get any support, any training as well from your suppliers?
No, short word. There's a lot of talk about people going to plan to do things, but to be quite honest, I'm not seeing it in our field at the moment. Other than,
good.
like I said, manufacturers going direct themselves.
Okay.
Not
now, Tony had some thoughts on that one. Sorry to interrupt you, Graham. Tony had some thoughts on training. So if you don't mind, I will play his recording.
Yes.
They provide some really good forums anyway, like marketing days, and occasionally they do, the partner conferences, they'll do sessions on social media. I think there's a difference between the manufacturer and also the reseller in how you engage. So they tend to have a slightly different view of how you should do it as to how the reseller does it, where they're actually in a more direct engagement rather than a general associate. I suppose what I'm trying to get at is that our method of engaging with somebody who's in a buying cycle might be slightly different from what Xerox is trying to engage with their partners is. I think that's where we probably have more knowledge about how to do that than what Xerox would. They provide.
So interesting feedback there. Tony has received training from Xerox, but what he values that, you can see there's a difference between what they're trying to get and what Tony and his organization is trying to get. Which leads me to the next question. Do you do, and I'm going to just ask you, Ben and Terry, do you do any internal training within your organization around social media, around social selling with your sales guys?
We don't do any training because we manage it. We have kind of a point person to manage it, and that's us. We find that it's a little bit easier to do that. But what we do is actually get the sales reps just to field frequently asked questions asked out in the field, just so we can speak to points that customers are wanting information on.
Yeah, most of our internal training is more cheerleading. We want them. These platforms have been around for years now, and we want them to stay excited about it and don't forget about it. So,
I like the cheerleading. Well done. Let's move to the next. So, clearly you guys are using our platform, Social Demand. I think Ben and Terry are using it on behalf of Xerox. I think Graham, you're using it on or with a number of suppliers. Graham,
yes.
Would you use it for? I mean, from whom? I mean, would you work with on Social Demand today? Where do you get your content from?
From the social on demand that we're getting from you via some of the suppliers which we're obviously tied up with, definitely is been capturing an audience, because we can see that from the amount of responses we get. The Westcon one is very good with audio via updates and everything else, and certainly from our industry, I think it's important for us to get out there first.
Good, yeah, and you use it from Westcon, but you use it from other distributors and IT vendors as well?
Yes, yes, anybody that we can get on demand, basically. Unfortunately, it is limited. I find, like I said to you, we'd have to try and get you to badger a few people, I think, to try and get them on board, because I think that some people are missing the point, and they're missing opportunities here.
I'm glad to hear that. So, Graham, just to carry on with you there, how are you using it? I mean, have you set it on automatic? Do you review the content that they provide you? Do you post most of their content?
We post most. Sorry, yeah. We post most of the content. I do review it and have a look at it. A lot of it will look at the automatic stuff, just going through. It's handy. I have a read of that because obviously I'm getting a response, and then I can see what's the most attractive to the audience, especially when I see that one or two items is getting repeated and a lot of people are responding to that. So more so on Twitter than probably LinkedIn or Facebook, but Twitter has definitely made a footprint there.
Okay, so if you, just to stay with Graham there, if you look at your content for a given week, how much of that content comes from your different suppliers via Social Demand versus your own?
Much more on social on demand than what we're putting in ourselves. Definitely, in terms of percentage.
Yes.
Probably 75% on social on demand.
Good. Okay. What about you, Ben and Terry? How are you using the platform that Xerox provides you?
Well, I just want to back up again what Graham just said. It's nice with Xerox Social On Demand that you can select your content to target your audience, because only you really know your area and your customers. And then with what you said earlier with the things like BuzzSumo and things.
Yeah, so we kind of do a mixture. We're around the same percentage. I would say 75, maybe a little more. We're using Xerox Social On Demand to post, and we're scheduling out. So we'll go and handpick all of the content that we see coming out with Xerox Social On Demand, and we'll schedule it out through, even over a couple months. And then we'll sprinkle in our own content, say 25% of that, in between the Xerox On Demand posting.
Okay.
Just so we get the links back to our website as well, in addition. So, what we'll do, what I like is the reporting is really great. Is you can see how many people are actually, clicking and sharing on the back end, and I really like that.
Good. So I was going to say, how did you find the platform? Easy to use, easy to set up, easy to utilize?
Absolutely, yeah. It's super easy to set up. All you have to do is really just sign into your Social On Demand, and then connect your Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Sign into those accounts, and you're connected. So it's super easy to set up, and then basically just browse through a catalog of all the content, and I think most of it's very, very relevant to our industry, which is what I like. And then you just schedule it out. Super easy. You can either share it if there's one you want to share like right now that you say, okay, this is very timely. I'll go ahead and hit share now. And then for the other ones, I'll just schedule it out for later on.
Cool. I mean, is the content that Xerox provide you good? Is it not too Xerox-centric? I mean, I know they're working very hard with it. Do you post just their content, or are they also putting some thought leadership content which is maybe better for you?
Yeah, the thing I like is it's actually a mixture. So you have product-focused content, customer-related category topics, SMB categories. So there's different categories you can choose content from, which is great because, yeah, you don't want to put too much product-focused content in and just push product all the time. So you're adding value through really good content, and then you're sprinkling in product information as well.
Cool. I mean, I've got a question there, so I'll ask you, but I think we've answered that already. What is stopping you from posting more of your content? Is it time? Is it you don't have content? Is it difficult to find? So for you and Graham, I mean, again, the question is, what's stopping you from posting more of your content? Are you not being able as an organization to have marketing and to do that?
For me, definitely time is a factor, so that I am limited at, but having taken, I think I'll take a leaf out of Ben and Terry's book, is to schedule more time to do that in the calendar. And having the right content, I think that's very important. It's got to be something that's interesting to the audience, and I really believe that's primary, the right way to go forward. Thank you.
What's the best content that's worked for you for your different suppliers, Graham? Is that product information? Is that market research? Do you have any input or insight into this?
There is good product knowledge available. I think it's coming up with something different that catches somebody think, oh, I didn't know that, or I think the audience, if they're looking, as in somebody on social media, they're looking for something particular at this time, an advert, you place an advert once and it's seen by so many people, but in social media, if you can keep plugging away at it and people see it regularly, I think once you get the followers and they're picking up that information, I guess for me it's about a bit of product, it's about a bit of something different, trying to reach them in a different angle. We're not just trying to sell them something, we're trying to help them something. So I think it's about offering some helpful hints as well as just giving them product knowledge.
Good. I mean, Ben and Terry, do you agree? Have you seen specific pieces of content that work better than others, or do you think it's got to be a spread of different types of content?
I think Graham's spot on. They say the best marketing people know what marketing works on themselves, and if you see a post somewhere that just makes you go, wow, I didn't know that, why not share it with your audience? And then the relevant content, like Ben was saying, engage them. Don't just do product-focused kind of things. Give them information on how they can save money, how they can improve their network security, or anything that's relevant to, especially for us in a B2B environment, anything that's relevant to them aside from what your product line is going to give them engagement. It's going to make them come back to see what articles you posted.
That's good. So, yeah, go on, Graham.
Yeah, this is Ben. I was just going to say we're seeing a lot of engagement with the marketing type content. So I think people see us as kind of a thought leader of kind of helping you grow your business on the Xerox side, not only just with office equipment, but just strategic ways to, like we just posted this morning from Xerox Social On Demand, growing your Instagram followers with user-generated content. So far, just today, that's gotten 12 clicks, and people love that. And so I think you're doing different types of content, but the marketing themed content is really doing well for us.
And clearly, if I may add there, it's content that would be difficult for you to find otherwise or create, right? I mean, you guys have limited marketing resources, and that information can be extremely difficult to put together.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, go on.
I was just going to say, unless you're surfing the internet all day long looking for content, I mean, it's nearly an impossible task.
Now you've got your day job to do as well, right? So I've got comments from Tony here about the benefits he sees from Social On Demand. So let's play that.
It's very simple to set up in terms of multiple users. I suppose the easiest way of describing it is it could take me a couple, 2 to 3 hours a day to do what I can do on Social On Demand in a matter of minutes. That's why I think it's such a powerful tool. It's such a powerful tool you actually forget it exists sometimes. You get so used to using it.
Right.
It's very simple to set.
Sorry. I hope you guys don't forget to use it. Any last thoughts you have, Graham, on the benefits you see? I mean, you mentioned earlier you believe you've generated some new business, new leads out of that. Have you got any other feedback you can share? Any anecdote you can share about the use of social media in general for your business?
I definitely think that we need to do more of it. The benefits are clearly people are getting recognised, people like referrals. I think it's very key. I'm trying to work on that at the moment, as you know. Getting referrals for things supplied, done, services, and then posting that, and so people can see that. I think now if you go and buy something on Amazon, wherever you're looking for, you'll read the referrals, the reports that people have put, and I think it's very important. People will buy in that way now. They'll take that advice and purchase of more information from social media, and especially for us to use more Social On Demand. I think is definitely the way forward. That's the way for marketing, I believe.
Good. I'm glad to agree with you on that one. Ben, Terry, and again, any anecdote, anything you've seen, any prospect mentioned your social media activities?
No, I think the best thing anyone can do really is just take action. Just set up a goal to, if you don't have this account set up, just set them up. It doesn't take much. It doesn't have to be perfect. Connect it up. Connect your social media on demand and schedule out some posts. Once you do that and you start seeing, some small wins of customers engaging and actually, you're messaging back and forth, it actually feels pretty good. So I would say that's my final thoughts, just take action.
Take an action, like that. Okay, so just finishing, maybe we've just done that. Do you guys Graham, I know your views. For any vendors out there, your suggestion is going to be to subscribe to Social On Demand, right?
Absolutely, definitely, without a doubt. Yeah.
What about other channel partners? I mean, do you know? Obviously, do you have peers who are in channel as well? Do you know if they do anything like that? If their own suppliers do that? Have you had a chance to talk to them about this?
Not in detail, but because obviously it gives me an edge. But I do have a very good friend and colleague who's got a similar business to myself. He's offering Avaya products more than we are. We're more Mitel focused, but he definitely is interested. He's trying to move his business forward. So I will be putting in touch with what you're offering. I definitely think that he could benefit from that. And I believe, without a doubt, that this is the way forward now.
Thank you very much. Ben, Terry, do you have any suggestions for vendors who are listening in?
Yeah, we also provide managed website services for the Xerox agencies and resellers. So we actually automatically, we just set it up for them. So I think it's so important that we automatically set it up, and we make sure we have all the Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn badges on the website, so they can funnel back to their social media platforms to gain likes. But yeah, I think it's just an essential tool to use.
Especially for small businesses, like you said, limited resources, no brainer. Go to Xerox or go to the Social On Demand platform.
Absolutely.
Okay, glad to hear that. Okay, so I can tell you we've answered a lot of questions that came through. I've asked a few, but a lot of the questions were actually answered as you guys were talking. So we come to a point in the presentation, in the discussions, where we have no longer any questions to answer. For the audience, if you have any last-minute questions, please don't hesitate to ask them right now. We'll continue to monitor and to answer. The last thing I really want to do before I thank the panelists is just show you the next webinar that we're organizing at Pure Channel Apps. In case you're interested, we're doing a webinar on June 22nd about partner communications, which is another very fundamental element of a partner program. We have a lot to say in that space, so if you guys are interested, simply go to our webinars page and register for that event. We'll be talking with Sanian Kaminsky in July from Zebra Technologies about the next generation of social advocacy. So for those who are interested in that, please register. And lastly, we'll be discussing in September, we'll be discussing partner portals, which you guys on the call I know are all involved with as well, and many vendors are. But so just visit the webinar page and we can do that. Now on that note, let me see, just one question here. Someone asked, do you have any other resources which you use on a daily basis that you would recommend to other channel partners? Ben, Terry, do you have anything? I mean, you mentioned earlier on a site where you go and find information. Do you use any other social media tools that we haven't discussed here today to help you?
I think, yeah, BuzzSumo has been just very valuable for us because you can go in and search for, one of your keywords around your industry and find out what's getting the most shares and likes out there. So if you wrap around your content around that or share out that type of social media content, then you're going to get good engagement. You know you will, because it's gone viral or it's gotten a lot of engagement. So I think that's one of the most valuable tools we've used other than social on demand.
Right. Great. What about you, Graham? Do you use anything else?
Yes, I look at news feeds actually, whether it's international news or Sky or BBC. I look on technology pages, and if I see something that's really interesting and I think that people will be interested in, that's something I will use and repost with a direction back to our site now. So there's one or two, obviously things in America as well, news feeds that if I can see it's hot on the press, I'll follow that up.
Okay, good. Okay, well,
another one I wanted to add is Google Trends is another good site to check out. So if you type in your keyword there, you can see kind of what is trending on a little graph. It's really cool. Google Trends.
Good, thank you very much. That's good. I'm sure everybody else on the call would be interested there. I've got one more question which I'm going to answer because it's a question about language content, localized content on the platform, and whether vendors should do localized news. Now, I know you guys based in US, and I know you, Graham, in UK don't really care. Most vendors will do English first. So let me answer that question. We work with around 40 vendors in the IT sector, most of which have deployed social demand in local language, and clearly this is the way forward. Expecting partners to post English content if they're in France or in Germany or in South America simply doesn't work. And unfortunately, many vendors tend to forget that and take the easy route to just assume English is everywhere, and that's not the case. Okay, so that's it. That's the last question for today. Let me just end up by saying a super congratulations and thank you very much to you, Ben, to you, Terry, and to you, Graham. Delighted to have you on call today. I'm sure everybody who attended the call will find the information you shared absolutely extremely valuable. So thank you all three. And on that note, Sam, we can end the call. Thank you very much.
All right.
Pleasure.
Well,
Thank you.
I'd like to echo your sentiments,
Thank you.
Olivier. Thank you, everybody. And everyone, have a great day. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for attending. And do please take a few moments to fill out your post-event survey. We love hearing everyone's input and use it for future events. But this does conclude the call. Everyone have a great afternoon, day, wherever you may.